So to start things off, Tyler Creator, new album, Chromakopia, 14 records. Features, we got Daniel Caesar, Tizo Touchdown, Glorilla, Sexy Red, Lil Wayne, Latoya Williams, Schoolboy Q, Santi Gold, Lola Young, and Doechii. And those were delight surprises because there were rumors going into the album that there were no features. Well, at least those are the rumors I saw, that there were no features, so there were delight surprises. And last week when I came in and talked about this album, it wasn't out yet. I just wanted to applaud Tyler's approach to it, the fact that he went against the grain. Instead of dropping on your normal Friday, he decided to drop on a Monday. And I had time to sit with it throughout the week. It's a different feeling, like going with, in terms of the days I record this show and when I review albums, it is good just to sit with an album for about a week compared to 2 days and a half or something like that. So Tyler definitely benefited from it. I'm not here to say every artist should start dropping on a Monday or a Tuesday, but I think a lot of people can benefit from it. Like Tyler doesn't give me the I just got paid it's Friday night vibes. Like he's gonna have songs that put me in that vibe, but overall, Tyler Creator waking up on a Monday morning, got a chance to live with it, and I'm comfortable talking about it now. Overall thoughts on the album. It does feel like this the only route Tyler could have went after Flower Boy, Igor, and Call Me If You Get Lost. Now, I'm very open about saying I didn't get on the Tyler Creator wave until Flower Boy, and that was 2017. So I can only imagine the kids who were Odd Future fans in 2010, 2011. They were probably kids at the time. They're adults now. And just to see Tyler evolution as an artist, the evolution of Odd Future as a conglomerate as a whole, that got to be a dope feeling. Like, we all grew up on certain artists. Like Wayne, he just had the Louisiana Fest with the Hot Boys reunion. Like, the inner child in me loved that. So I can only imagine, a Odd Future fan in 2010, 2011, now in 2024, basically being able to tell people, I told y'all. Because I don't want to say they were weird, because when I use weird, it's not in a positive way. I'll say they was more out the box back then in 2010, 2011. And just to see now, like, damn, that's the same guy from the Yonkers video. That's a dope feeling. Shout out to Odd Future fans, and they've been riding with Tyler since. They buy the merch, they go to the shows, they buy the vinyls, they at the pop-ups. They invested. They've been invested. Shout out to Lionel. He been doing his thing. Taco, Jasper, the internet, Vince Staples, of course, the mystery of Frank Ocean. And I don't want to miss nobody. I'm not, familiar with the whole conglomerate, but everybody from Odd Future, you can make an argument in terms of hip-hop groups, hip-hop, whatever you want to call it, they in the conversation. They definitely in the conversation. So I want to give a shout-out to Odd Future and those fans who've been down from the jump. Because I got on board at Flower Boy, so I can't give y'all a backstory on all that. But just seeing from Flower Boy till now, how he been able to change it up, going to Igor, then jumping back, Call Me If You Get Lost, the Gangsta Grills, and now Chromakopia, it seemed like it all came together on this album, and I've been very pleased with it. I've been having it on repeat over the weekend. It's been in my rotation. It was a great week overall for new music. Let's get that straight. It's been a great week. When it comes down to the end of the year, because I normally do my end of the year episodes talking about my favorite albums, I might do that 2-part. And I might not even be like, this my favorite album of the year. I might just talk about all the great albums that came out over the year. 2024 has been a great year for music. R&B, I think, could be a little bit better. But in terms of hip-hop, no complaints from me. Now, let's talk about some of the records I enjoy on this album. I don't think the album really got going until The Darling I with Tizo Touchdown. And I always say every time I hear Tizo on a feature that I like, that's going to make me go and check out his music. But I think at the time, I'm cool with just having Tizo to be the great feature guy. I'm not here to say he's the new such and such when it comes to features, but anytime I hear him on a feature and it sounds good, I'm like, yeah, he fits perfectly with that record. And Darling I is another one. Darling I put me in the mindset of when I first heard Running Out of Time on Igor. Just the vibe and how it puts you in that mindset of the 70s or the 80s. I love Darling I, one of my favorite. Hey Jane, the perspective rap. Anytime an artist does a rap with the first verse, he's speaking from this point of view. The second verse, he's speaking from a woman point of view. That's a cheat code. It always works. Hey Jane definitely is one of those records. I Killed You at the end, the breakdown, the you just so beautiful. Like Tyler, and people asked me last week, like, does it feel weird talking about a guy who got the same name as you? It does feel weird, but it's in a positive, it's in a positive light, so I'm cool with it. But I don't think Tyler, and this going back to Hey Jane as well, I don't think Tyler gets enough credit for his rapping ability and his production ability. Like, we just grew accustomed to saying, oh, Tyler makes great projects, he makes great albums, but we don't like to highlight the fact his rapping ability has gotten a lot better throughout the years. And his production, the fact he produces all his albums and the wide range of production on his albums, like, fam, I just listened to Flower Boy over the weekend when I was taking my walk at the park. Flower Boy is still amazing. It's just so smooth. The Boredom record, of course, 911, all those records just go well with each other. The sequencing is great. And then he switched it up on Igor, and then he comes back with the Gangsta Grills, and he producing all these records. He doesn't get enough light shine on that aspect. He's like a great all-around artist. You know what I'm saying? So of course, we're going to say he made great albums, but we need to talk about a little bit more than just, oh, the album is great. Like, no, the rapping is stepped up. The production is always on point. And I will revisit Tyler in a later conversation on this episode with that. Judge Judy, I really enjoy. Sticky with Glorilla, Sexy Red, and Wayne. Shout out to Wayne, too, by the way. Over the weekend, I caught the Louisiana Fest on Amazon. He had the Hot Boys reunion. Everything looked great. At the beginning, it was a little bit Wayne, like we said, with the Super Bowl and all that, performance aspect. But you could tell he warmed up as the show went on. And by the time the Hot Boys came out, it was just great to see. It was great to see. They did the records you're familiar with. They did some records I was like, I could have probably dealt without. But all in all, it was great. It was great to see all of them on stage. You had the Big Timers reunion, too, with Birdman and Mandy Fresh. And they was in New Orleans, so the crowd was into it. It was an all-around great show. I really enjoyed watching the Louisiana Fest Saturday night. But going back to this Sticky record, and I don't know if I ever said this in terms of music, it could have used the A$AP Rocky verse. A$AP and Tyler are cool. I think this record could have used the A$AP Rocky verse. I could have dealt without Sexy Red. Wayne was just in there for a cup of water and left. But we've known Wayne to be featured on Tyler Creator albums as well. So that's not a surprise. But I would love to see a Rocky verse on that record. That was just a thought I had. Take Your Mask Off, I really enjoyed as well. Tomorrow, Like Him. And that's the Like Him record at the end. That's with the mom voicemail. And that's been getting highlighted a lot too with this album. The voicemails from his mom on this album. And with the Like Him record, she was basically saying, your dad wasn't a bad guy. I just didn't want him around. And I'm surprised that didn't spark a conversation because I don't have any kids, but I'm sure a lot of fathers probably go through that where they want to see their child, but the mom is the one blocking it. But the mom is telling the child, your dad ain't shit or whatnot. But in reality, she's blocking. It's a great conversation starter, one I can't really participate in, but I'm surprised that didn't get more acknowledgement. And of course, it's a sticky situation, so I understand it. But very personal. Very personal. Hey Jane, very personal. He tapped into that world too. The personal introspective raps, I really enjoyed. Balloon with the Uncle Luke sample and the Dolce verse. Speaking of Dolce, and I don't want to be that male podcaster, but I got to be for a minute. Did y'all see that video she uploaded where she danced to the Doja Cat? I see what TDE doing. Combined with the great albums, you got SZA over here looking like SZA. Now you got Dolce. Because at first we like Dolce, the new album is great. She's probably the Rookie of the Year. If you want to say in 2024, I'm not mad at that. But I didn't know it was like that until she uploaded that video she dancing to Doja Cat. So shout out to Dolce. And she killed that verse. A lot of people saying, she stole the show with her verse on Balloon. All in all, Tyler Creator, Chromakopia, I'm not mad at it. I'm not mad at it. I'm not here to say I got it over Call Me If You Get Lost Yet, Igor, Flower Boy. And I'm not familiar with the work before Flower Boy, but it's a great album, man. It's a great album. And it sounds like he planned on dropping it to start the week off. Like, yeah, you can listen to it on a Friday, of course. You know, we listen to music, so we can listen to it on a Friday after work or whatever. But the fact it dropped on a Monday, I had time to live with it and sit with it throughout the week. Man, kudos to Tyler, man. Kudos to Tyler. And like I said before, we need to put more light on the fact that his rapping ability stepped up a lot throughout the years and his production. Like, it's a difference, like, with J. Cole, right? J. Cole produces as well. But J. Cole production style on his albums, it just seemed to fit just J. Cole, if you know what I mean. Compared to Tyler, where it's just so many vibes going on throughout the album, and you bring in features that fit those vibes as well. It's a little bit different in my opinion. Shout out to Cole. Now, I'm not taking nothing away from his production, but with Tyler, it's like you sit back, you hear Darling I, and you like, okay. Then you hear Balloon with Doechii, and you like, hey, these two different vibes, but you somehow, some way pick the right artist to be featured on these songs. Kudos to Tyler, man. Kudos to Tyler. This album is definitely not leaving the rotation anytime soon. I highly recommend y'all check it out if you haven't already.